Hey everyone, welcome back to Shop Life. It's another night, another vlog. We're still working on the 1 series. We finally getting some more parts in and making some progress. As you guys saw, we had the subframe all wire wheeled. Now it's almost ready for paint. Just a little bit more touch up, some cleaning spots. And then we're gonna be putting the Rustoleum primer on it, on the rusty parts, and then just some gloss black paint. In the meantime though, we've got the KW V3 coilovers that are going to be going on this 1M. So since there's no rear end in, we're just going to go ahead and do the fronts for right now, install the M3 sway bars as well, and just, get as much stuff done as we can until we get the rest of the control arms for this subframe and have it painted and ready to go. Let's take a quick look at the subframe. So here are the KWs that are going in. The KWs are very, very good in terms of all of the functions they have. We have the V3s that are going on this car. So the V3s for the 1M are actually a pretty good value. They're about $2,700, $2,800, which is really cheap when you look at the V3s for most other cars. All right, but anyways, let's just get to work.
So while he was working on installing the coilovers, I went ahead and started prepping the subframe. I cleaned it up with some brake cleaner and got it ready for the primer and then paint. And while we were doing that, my little brother was removing the surface rust off the diff and to get it nice and cleaned up. So since the subframe was pretty rusty, we decided to use the Rustoleum rusty metal primer, as well as the paint that goes along with it, which I will show later on. But all the products will be linked down in the description box if you are interested. Alright, so yesterday I finished doing the other side, coating it in the black paint as well as the primer, as you guys saw. So now I'm just on the other side finishing it up, and then it should be ready.
That shit. I'll do it.
Alright, so we've got the solid bushings pressed in on the subframe. So these are the actual subframe mounts themselves. Now that they're pressed in, the only thing we have left are the 2 diff mounts in the front, 1 diff mount in the rear, and we've got these 2 trailing arm mounts as well. But all of these are going to be polyurethane. Only one that's like a 1-piece is this one right here. The rest are 2-piece, so it should be a little bit easier to put it in. And then you just have the little bushing that, or like the barrel, the metal barrel that just slides through. So those are a little bit easier than pushing these in, because for these you have to use the actual press, and that's the only way that you're going to be able to get them in. Where'd that 21 go?
Oh, what? Tied him up.
Am I supposed to?
Because he's a bad boy.
Am I supposed
He's not a dog.
I know, right?
Get out.
Get out. Oh, that shit burned my hairs.
I told you wouldn't be able to get out.
This shit is strong. No, it's not.
Weak boys.
Weak boys.
Damn, that shit. What you said? Weak boys?
Oh, that's a nice shirt. Where you get it?
From my house.
You don't even live here.
Bust your ass.
Alright, so we're getting ready to just tighten up some of the bolts on the subframe. A lot of these arms and stuff I'm not going to tighten up until we have the ride height and everything dialed in. Once the ride height's dialed in, then I'll preload everything, whichever ones require preloading, and then tighten everything down. But the things that I already did get somewhat tight are the sway bar mounts. So both of these are really tight because you really don't have access to them once the whole subframe is back in the car. I also went ahead and just tightened up the sway bar links, which I'll loosen again and retighten them once we have the ride height set in, or ride height settled. Besides that, we just got all these connectors. The speed sensor on this side was broken on the subframe when we received it, so I just pulled that out. That way it's just easier with all the space. And then we don't have the lower trailing arms put in yet. That will put in once the car's up in the lift. But we're gonna go ahead and put the new springs for the KWV3s with the adjuster on, and we'll just lower the car onto the subframe with all the springs and everything attached. That way it's easier and I don't have to take anything else off later on. But yeah, it's almost finally back in the car. push it up. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna lower some more. Watch that shock. Did yours go in?
Yeah.
We should be golden. Subframe's in. All the bolts lined up fine. All the bushings, well, not really bushings anymore. They're just solid mounts. All that stuff went in well. Only thing that is still left to hook up are the shocks and also just tightening all of the arms and all the ball joints, all that stuff down. But for now, we can just lift the car up and see how everything looks. All that's lined up, all that's lined up. We just gotta make sure the height is where we want it. And we gotta put this up. All right, so the subframe is finally in. After all that work, all the painting, you know, taking all the rust off, changing all the bushings out, finally in. Now we just have to pretty much start buttoning everything up, change the fluid in there, put the exhaust, you know, all the stuff that we took off, gotta put all that back on. But for this video, we're just gonna call it quits. I think we did enough in this video as far as the whole rear end and everything goes. But we'll see you guys in our next video when we finish putting the rest of the stuff back together. And you might actually finally get to hear how it sounds with that whole downpipe and the new exhaust setup. I don't think we mentioned that, but we got a whole new exhaust as well. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you go check out all of our social media and also the website where we uploaded a few new merch items. So make sure you check that out. Show us some love if you can. Support us in whatever way you can. And thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video.